Welcome everyone, AdamTheWoo here, TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday, and what better place to be standing on a Friday than staring at the beautiful Mark Twain riverboat on the rivers of America, the soon-to-be, after the end of this year, under construction, closed off, at least for a while. The rumor is for a year to a year and a half. In the creation of Star Wars land, which will actually be off in the horizon. And I actually did a vlog the other day riding the Mark Twain, and a lot of people have been asking me, what about these other news stories that are abounding and the facts and figures that Disneyland and Walt Disney World has added to their arsenal? Actually, not really added to their arsenal. I have added something to my arsenal in the form of more money from my bank account needs to be transferred to my annual pass. And to talk about that is Dano as well. Dano Flores from the Dano channel.
That is me.
And you did a video where you talked about the price increases at Disneyland.
I also did one based on the original price from opening day.
I saw that one as well. So you guys can go check
it out and kind of see, is it worth it? Are we still getting a good deal today versus what they paid when the park first opened?
You know what my answer is going to be.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I am always going to say thumbs up no matter what.
Same.
And I understand why they are raising the price. Now, they are not raising the prices again of the general admission. So basically, if you are a normal person who's just showing up on vacation, the price for you is not going to increase.
Same, yeah,
I think they increased that like maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a tiny bit.
Normal incremental amount.
But they are basically, the annual pass holders, they have actually increased the price of the annual pass. And the reason for that is because I think the parks are reaching capacity a lot. It's getting very, very busy.
Busiest year ever.
Especially during the holidays, special events, and now with the internet, it seems like every week there is an unorganized event, an unofficial event that the internet kind of blows up into the stratosphere, like things like
everybody comes out.
Things like Dapper Day and things like that. And most of the people, a good percentage of those people, are annual pass holders, so the park hits capacity. And it does make sense on a business standpoint to raise the annual price passes, and then it kind of separates the men from the boys, if you will. So basically, if you really want to be here, you will actually show up and you will pay whatever the price is, which is what I got pretty much pigeonholed into.
It's still a good deal, though.
It is. It's a heck of a deal.
It's a really good deal.
And you have the Disneyland, well, it used to be called the Premium Pass? What did it used to be called?
Well, yeah, I think Premium.
But now it's called something else. Now it's called something else.
Signature or a Signature Plus if you feel like coming during the weeks of Christmas and New Year's.
So are you going full Disney and you're going the full Signature, or are you going to black out?
I haven't decided yet.
You have not? Oh, you have not decided?
I'm not buying one pass. I'm buying 4 passes.
You have a family.
So, you know, I got 2 kids, a girlfriend, myself.
You have a plethora of folk that you have to actually... By the way, look how empty it is just after rope drop here at Disneyland in New Orleans Square. This is my favorite area. As soon as rope drop happens, everyone seems to storm over to Tomorrowland, to Space Mountain, or to, where else would they go? Probably to Fantasyland?
Fantasyland,
Sure. Everyone wants to
Everybody just basically goes to Peter Pan.
They congregate to Peter Pan. So the best thing you can do at rope drop is actually just head over through either Frontierland and venture over past Pirates into New Orleans Square. And look how awesome this is. And this view, I am guessing they are going to put up probably a wall around here. And I was having this discussion with somebody. In fact, it might have been you last night. We were talking about this, about when they're doing the construction through here and there is a wall up, do you think it will cause an issue? There's a Power Ranger. That is the red Power Ranger who is making a beeline to Haunted Mansion. So basically, you were saying last night that when they put the wall up, it will actually make more of kind of a hindrance with the crowd control in here. And I think it's actually going to do the opposite.
Going to free it up a little bit?
Because I was noticing, I was out here on a Friday a couple weeks ago. It was so busy in this area because this whole area is queued up for Phantasmic, and they have basically all the way up to here, you can't even stand in. So when both Phantasmics 2 a night are happening, this whole area is blocked off and you can't actually even walk in here. So I'm thinking once Phantasmic is not going to be happening because they have the wall up, this whole area will be much more free
to traffic.
So it will just be flowing ebbs and flows and ebbs back and forth. People going to Haunted Mansion. The ever so popular Winnie the Pooh back over in Critter Country, which...
So yeah, speaking of critters.
Yes.
One thing about the expansion and the draining of the river that kind of irks me. Not irks me, but I'm concerned.
Is that even a technical word? Irks? Oh, the ducks.
The ducks. What are the ducks going to do?
They will find. Yeah.
There's an entire ecosystem here with those ducks. So what happens to them?
I wonder if they'll
they're
probably end up hanging out with the goats.
Probably. But what
The
happens
goats.
when the goats are gone?
I don't know. That's a very, very
There's
good
a
question.
lot about the
You
cats
bring
are
up
going to get like
the cats.
starved. Well, the cats eat the ducks, and the goats also eat the ducks.
The cats
and
eat
the goats
the ducks?
also eat the cats.
You're telling me things I did not want to
These
know
are
or
Disneyland
need.
secrets you can find on my channel.
Disneyland's. Look at these flowers. What kind of flowers are these? Look at that.
Are those petunias?
Oh, you stole my line. Are those petunias? Are those petunias? So, I upgraded, because now I'm not allowed to go back to Walt Disney World. I upgraded. I have the two-part, I call it the Coast to Coast Pass.
Yeah.
It's called the Premier Pass. No blackout days. Unlimited parking. 10 to 15 to 20% off food and merchandise at the parks, whether it be Florida, whether it be California. So I can go to Magic Kingdom in Florida. I can go to Epcot Center. I can go to Hollywood Studios / MGM. I go to Animal Kingdom. I can go to both water parks. And I can show up here to Disneyland, California Adventure, and all those things. Any day, 365 days a year, any event except for Not So Scary and Mickey's Halloween Party and those type of things, which have an extra fee. Free parking and all of that. When I got my pass, it was $1,099, which broke the bank. I had to take out a small loan. I had to visit every pawn shop in Orange County and get rid of my stuff. But it was worth it to go back to Florida, and it's worth it because a ticket to Florida is over $100 and $100 here. So if you do the math, definitely worthwhile. Now, what I paid just a few weeks ago or a month and a half ago for my premium Coast to Coast Pass is now what they are charging
For the Signature Plus.
just for the Signature Plus Pass, just at Disneyland, not even counting Florida. So I got just under the radar, the cusp of the radar, and my pass expires the end of January. So I have a few months left to utilize that. Hopefully I'll be going back to Florida in December and checking that out. But my pass in one day, what was it, about a week and a half ago this happened?
About a week and a half.
A week and a half ago,
Sundays.
went up $400. My pass went from $1,099. When I renew my pass, if I so choose to renew my pass, it will be $1,499, which is a lot of money. The good thing is they have added certain benefits. The one major benefit, which I think is kind of cool, which I never utilized before because it was a little pricey, but now it is included for free, quote unquote free on mine, is I can actually use the photo pass option. So I could go around to every cast member holding a camera, give them my pass. They could take a picture of me and Dano together in front of the partner statue, in front of the castle, in front of wherever, at any park, both coast to coast parks, and for free I can go on and get that high resolution picture on the internet. That's pretty awesome.
No more blurry cell phone snaps.
Right.
So
I could ride Splash Mountain 50 times. I could ride Space Mountain 50 times, and I could get the high resolution picture, which is really good for Walt Disney World because Disneyland, they've actually embraced the fact that people take pictures of the actual ride-throughs. Disney World, they don't embrace it so much.
No, they block it. They block your face on there. So.
They block it with a number. So that is going to be definitely a big advantage. So here's my question to you. Dano and I have already made our decisions. Well, I did. You're still pretty much on the cusp.
Let's just say I know I'm renewing my pass. That's for the rest of the family. We'll see what they get. We'll see how good they were this year.
They're on their own. But I want to know what you guys think. Is $1,099 for an unlimited 365 days to come to Disneyland and Disney California Adventure, is that something you would do? Is it worth it in your mind's eye? And doing coast to coast, is it worth it for $1,499 to be able to go to all the Florida attractions and the California attractions? I've made my decision.
When you put the two side by side like that, I think it makes a decision kind of easy.
$1,500
if
is
you're
a
gonna
lot
go.
of money.
It
I could
is.
buy a lot of tacos.
Yeah.
I could buy a lot of tacos and a lot of burritos and a lot of cases of Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
But basically, me eating those things is probably not the healthiest, so I'm just going to have to cut back on some soda, cut back on some food, and in return, I will get the joys of being able to go to Disney, coast to coast to coast. I wonder if they will ever have a pass that's good for every Disney park across the world.
That would be amazing.
You would pretty much be a baller.
The first year that happens, I'm jumping on it.
You're going to get it? What would the first park you go to?
Tokyo.
Tokyo
Disney Sea.
That's the one. Cool.
That's one I want to go
There's
to.
Hong Kong and Shanghai and Paris. There's a veritable plethora of goodness. So here we are. Take one little look here. Well, we'll probably be back to film this again before the end of it. But just look at how empty and barren and awesome and wonderful and overcast today is. All right, hang out with Dano all day. Probably won't be here all day, but here be a pretty good chunk of the day hanging out with Dano. Check out his videos, his channel, Dano Flores, YouTube/Dano Flores.
/user/Dano Flores.
Yeah, it's one of those.
YouTube messed my URL up.
Lots of slashes.
Either way, just look up the Dano channel.
There you go.
See that little logo? You see this beautiful mug?
The Dano.
That's me.
The Dano channel.
We talk about Disney things and artwork and other random
Thanks
stuff.
for chiming in on this. A lot of people have been out. That's the beauty of social media. People ask questions. They say, "What do you think about this?" And through these unedited vlogs, which are different than my adventure channel, the adventure channel are edited videos, which I just uploaded my 6th adventure video on the AdamTheWoo channel in a week. 6 main channel videos on the AdamTheWoo channel. I will not spoil it on what it is. Go check it out. So this channel is more of like just what I'm thinking, what's on my mind, things like that. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys mañana? Tomorrow? What's another word for tomorrow? Another language besides mañana and besides tomorrow. Say goodbye. Say I'll see you tomorrow in another language.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Good enough.